watching Inside Africa. Welcome back. Last week, we took you inside Somali refugee camps in the Kenyan town of Dadaab. Conditions are horrendous, mostly due to overcrowding. Many Somalis are also trying to escape the violence back home by fleeing across the Gulf of Aden, an extremely dangerous undertaking. Well, recently, the U.S. Navy rescued 52 Somalis who had been adrift in a small boat for 7 days. I asked our Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr about the surge in violence that is forcing scores to risk their lives for a shot at some safety.
A U.S. Navy helicopter flying over the Gulf of Aden came across this boat of about 52 Somali refugees, men, women, and children. They'd been in this boat on the water, stalled for about 7 days. You can see some of the pictures. These people were in very rough shape, suffering from severe dehydration, exposure to the elements, no food. It was very bad. And it took a while to get rescue forces to them because the nearest Navy ship, even after the helicopter spotted them, was some 30 miles away. So they got there just as fast as they could, beginning by, of course, trying to rescue the small infants that were stranded there with their parents, get these infants to safety first, get the small children on board the Navy ship, the women, and of course the men. While it's a humanitarian crisis beyond proportion, really, it's still a security crisis in that region. As you know, tens of thousands of people displaced in Somalia by the years and now decades of fighting. Aisha?
Absolutely, Barbara. The situation, just when you think it couldn't get worse, it seems to take another dip. What is going on right now? Why this surge in the fighting on the ground, Barbara?
Well, by all accounts, the Al-Shabaab, this network of Islamic fighters that the U.S. says is a terrorist network and says does have links to Al-Qaeda, is making another stand to fight government forces in Somalia, albeit very weak forces. They're trying to fight back. They have very little in the way of equipment and support. The Al-Shabaab is said to have a lot of financial backing, and the big concern beyond the humanitarian crisis, of course, is the security situation. To what extent is all of this fighting, all of this unrest, making Somalia an even bigger safe haven for Al-Qaeda than it may already be? There are concerns on both the Ethiopian border and the Kenyan border right now about the possibility of a free flow of refugees. Both Ethiopia and Kenya already, as well as Djibouti, of course, in very tough straits with Somali refugees flowing into their countries for the last many years, and they really want to try and clamp down on those borders. So across this region of the Horn of Africa, a good deal of unrest, and as we see in these pictures, it's these men, women, and children that, whether they're trying to escape Somalia or simply trying to move around inside these camps, inside Mogadishu, looking for some measure of safety. It is the civilians, of course, as always, that are really caught in the crossfire.
A really, really desperate situation. Our Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr, great to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Changing gears now, we'll tour 2 African art exhibitions in one museum.